You might be interested in this video. If you have a small workshop, ours is 17 by 19, so it's not very big. It's not the smallest, but it's not very big either. And if you're in the same kind of situation, this video might be of interest to you because you likely find that you get cramped very quickly when you're doing a number of different projects. If you're just doing one project at a time and then cleaning up right after, and you have a bit of time, to do all that cleanup and stuff, then great, and you probably don't fall in the same category. But for us, we had a number of projects that came in, and we had to get them out really quick. We had like 3 or 4 projects going at the same time, which meant, of course, cutting and planing and sanding and assembling, and then, of course, finishing, the spraying and all of that. So we were really cramped, and we were really struggling trying to get those projects out as quickly as possible, and of course still keeping the good quality that we want to give out to our customers. So we really let things go out of hand in regards to cleaning up. We had scrap wood, and we're going to give you a tour here quickly of what it looks like. But we have scrap wood everywhere. We have dust everywhere. We have tools, thrown around kind of thing. So it was time that, we said, okay, once we get such and such project done, where we had a deadline to get out of here, we said we're going to take the time to clean up and reorganize the workshop. So that's exactly what we're doing in this video. It's going to be more of a time lapse. A few of them will have a few closer ups, but most of it is a time lapse. And then at the end, we'll show you the different things that we've done that you might find helpful. Just a forewarning, it's nothing spectacular. Most the things that we've done is mostly for functionality, not for that it looks good. Hardly anybody ever comes into this workshop anyways, other than myself and Brenda. So, we're not doing it for style kind of thing. It was really for functionality as best as we can at a, very slim budget. We picked up a couple of sheets of plywood and some particle board, and that's about it. And a few things off of Amazon or whatnot. We'll, of course, leave links down below of the things that we bought if you might be interested in. We still have a few things that we still need to complete. The major or bulk of the things have been done. And so let's get to it. I'm going to give you a quick tour of our horrible, I'm kind of embarrassed to show what it looks like at this point in regards to all the stuff that we left around. So, but it is reality. That's kind of how things go. So it might be a little bit disturbing to some of you viewers that have immaculate workshops, and I apologize, but it is what it is for us. I'm still working full time. Brenda is no longer working, and she's just doing this full time. And so we're really, sort of trying to catch up into our groove kind of thing. So hopefully this new setup that we're going to show you at the end is going to be the answer to making things flow a bit better for us. So let's get to it. So here we are, as promised. This is probably the worst corner of the garage, with all our scrap wood all over laying around. Our bins have got full, so of course they end up on the side. We have extension cords laying on the floor. We got pipes from the dust collector, our pile of lumber at the back. This wall is not too bad. It's a bit under control. We have trim in the corner because we're doing renovations too. And here we got some coming up will be some garbage bags and everything else that we need to get thrown out. So a lot of work to be done. So hang on, we're going to get started and cleaning up this garage. Oh, I forgot to mention that we did make a plan for the new setup of our garage using SketchUp, and this is the look that we're going to go for. In the end, you'll see that it's probably changed a little bit. Of course, I did use just some standard already made templated pieces in there, so it doesn't, obviously it's not going to look exactly the same as what I actually have in our workshop, but I could give a good good representation of the scale and where things will be going. We did make some modifications just with trial and error as we started moving things around. We noticed that the ideas that we had here wouldn't work, so we did make some changes. So with that in mind, let's get cleaning up this garage. First, we started just by sitting around trying to figure out where we're going to start. That's always the hardest part, I think, when trying to do a whole cleanup of a garage like this, which has so much stuff. Where do we put things? How do we start? What's the best place to start with? So that's why we started off with a cup of coffee and trying to figure that out. And then we went to it. As you can see, we decided to start on that far wall, taking off the cleats, the French cleat system, so we can make room for our chop saw. And we're going to be building some units there for either side, for 2 feet by 4 feet on each side of the chop saw. Here I was using my new Craig track circular saw guide, and it's been working quite well. It makes an easy job for cutting plywood without taking up too much room. You can set it up anywhere, either on the ground or on a workspace. Of course, at this point I had no more workspace, so I just put it on the ground. Just a note, of course, I did put some like a foam insulation underneath so that we don't cut through the cement as well. So here we are, we have the 2 cabinets made, and I'm just making the middle section where the chop saw will be sitting on, and we put a funnel underneath basically to connect to the dust collector. Eventually we're going to make a hood over top, but that's going to be a project for another day. So here we are, just to fast forward, putting those 2 units together. Now we started on the other side of the wall, seeing that we moved everything over, and we decided to put our lumber that we use for construction in a vertical manner, just because it just makes it easier to access and takes the least amount of space compared to when we were stacking them up on top of each other. So here we are starting to make the workstations. We're going to make 2 workstations, 2 feet by 4 feet. One will be holding our Flatmaster sander, and we're probably going to make a video about that somewhere down the line. And here I'm making sort of a dust collection worktop for the other bench. So essentially it's just pegboard with, I'm going to have the dust collector hose connected to the bottom, and that way the dust will suck downwards somewhat. Of course, we'll have a hose connected to our sander as well. It's just makes it a little bit easier. And also, if there is, even if it doesn't suck all that much, because I know it's not, I didn't make all types of cavities and everything else to keep the suction levels the same throughout, but I think it's just still going to help, just even for the dust to fall through, and then we can just suck it up by hooking up the dust collector to the bottom. So that brings us to the end of the cleanup and reorganization. Here's a quick tour. Yeah, we'll probably use that wall for our clamps, and if I can, it'd be nice to have a clamping system for at least our 4-foot benches and tables and things like that. It might fit in there. But for now, we just have our sanding cart here. Again, it's about 80% done. I do want to put some shelves. Right now, we just threw a few things under there. The vacuum is going to stay under there. I'm going to have to make hookups so the vacuum hose comes up to near the top, so that could just plug in our hose for the sanders. But the tabletop also has the pegboard kind of thing, so the dust can fall through. And we do have, sorry for the fingers, the connection there for the vacuum. I do want to bring that to come out as well to the side or to the front, so I can just do a quick connect to the dust collector. Right now it's just under there. We can still connect it, but I do want to have it so that it comes out to the side or one of the sides, so that'd be easier just to connect on kind of thing when we want to use it. Now, obviously, I don't have it. I don't have a funnel underneath or anything like that, so the dust will fill up in there. So what I've done is I made it so that it's on hinges. Turn it back up here. On hinges, so we can just pick it up. I can actually go up to 90 degrees. And that way we clean it out once in a while so that not all the dust gets accumulated in there. So that's one bench. It's on wheels, so it can be moved around anywhere we want. And then the next part, the other cart we done is for the Flatmaster. Again, still want to put drawers and things like that. This is just the base functional cart. We can start using it at least until I can get around to finishing it. Whether that will happen or not remains to be seen. But that is the plan, to have storage all our sand. So under here, I'd like to have all the drawers and shelves, so we can put all our sanding stuff in there and take the clamps out and all that stuff. But so it'd just be everything that we need for sanding would be on this cart. This one could be sanding as well, but I'm probably going to put more of the tools that we use on a regular basis, like biscuit joiner and circular saw and things like that. So that'll be down on the bottom there. And for those who haven't seen it, this is a Flatmaster. It's kind of like an inverted drum sander, but it's manually. You can sand things very quickly. Similar to a drum sander, flattens out things like cutting boards and things like that. If you were to make cutting boards or tabletops, it makes a nice quick job of it. I'll definitely have to get around to making a video of how it works and how well it works compared to drum sanders. The benefits and cons of having a Flatmaster over a drum sander. So I'll get around to that someday. Now, the other big thing that really helped us here for this shop now is the wood. So back this up here a little bit. Here's our wood management kind of thing. So now we have it up all on vertical. We used to have it all flat, but now we have it all vertical. We have the different sizes, our 12-inch boards, and then we got some 10 inches and 8 inches and 6 inches and things like that. And then we have 1.5 inch. We probably not going to get, usually this is probably our maximum amount of wood that we store in our garage here. We have a local sawmill that we get our wood from, so we'll usually once we start seeing our inventory go down, we'll give them a call and say we'll be needing some wood shortly. So that's kind of where it's at now, but this is pretty much the maximum. Actually, it's kind of overflowed to what we what we were planning to have on there, but for now, that's it. I do have bungee cords on there right now, but I'm probably going to switch that over to having some chains with little hooks kind of thing to go around, so it'd be easier to manage. Which brings us over here. Now, next station is going to be our paint finishing area. Don't have them up yet, but I will be putting up curtains, sort of like a drop cloth curtains kind of thing to close off, starting from the center there kind of thing, coming up to about here, and then going across right about to the end of the track there kind of thing. So it'll be an 8x8 area of our workshop. Again, this is only a 17x19 workshop, so that's taking a big portion of our our garage. But it is also going to be, we can also work in there as well. But the idea is that we're going to be able to cordon that off and use it as our paint booth. And for right now, so that's why we have all our stains and paints here. We're going to be putting the curtain going in front of that as well. Stains there. We have lots of paints there for different colors. And still haven't done it yet. This is our router table, as you can see there. But we're gonna convert that into our paint station table kind of thing, because don't use the router all that often. So I might just cover it properly so that the paint doesn't get in there. But when I do need it, I'll be able to open it and use it as a router if I had to. And don't have it yet, but we'll probably, once I get all that, there's still some garbage to get rid of there, but we'll have an exhaust fan that goes outside as well to do some negative pressure within the paint booth area. So that's for that. Our scrap woods, we got way too much, but at least it's a bit under control now. We use our old wood cart here, and we went through most of our scraps as much as we can. This is what's left over. We had about, I think, 6 garbage bag full that we chopped down of stuff that were just too thin and stuff that we wouldn't be using. So this is this is our scrap wood area for now. Plan is we're going to try and get rid of this, and we want to break it down to just having like maybe 1 bin of scrap wood at any given time is our plan, because this was we were way out of control for that kind of thing. So right now, like I said, there's our clamps that we have there. Not all that many. I wouldn't mind having about double of that, but for now, that's where they are. I'll be staying there. And over here, we have at the end of the table saw, we have our jointer, and then, of course, garbage bin that we need. Jointer here, table saw is right there. We have a good, I think, 10 feet in between here from the blade to the back where that station is over there. And if we do have to do longer than, I think that's about 7 feet to the door, we could, open the door if we had to do some longer pieces, but very rarely do I have to rip longer than like 6 feet kind of thing. So for our projects. Of course, we have our cutting station now, our chop saw station, which is still full of stuff because some of the, we're clearing all the stuff on top here, trying to get that reorganized. So, and we still have to, all the sandpaper and sanders, again, we'll be going into that station there. We'll have some things going down below there that currently are underneath the stations here. So we'll get that all organized in some point. We have some things way on top there that I don't use very often. We kept the compressor, although, again, we're not using that much anymore, but I keep it there because we do use it for, filling up air for the cars and things like that. Because we do have the battery-operated nailer now kind of thing, which I find much more convenient than turning on a compressor and having a hose and all that kind of stuff. So the chop saw station is not completed yet. I did get some T-track here. Still in the box, and of course some tape, measuring tape to put on the station, and I'm going to have to get a stop block to put that in here. And of course I still want to make a bit of a box to go over the chop saw so that it doesn't get dust all over the table and everything kind of thing. Again, not going to do anything fancy. It's going to be more of just a hood, sort of a box going around it or something. See what we come up with. And now we have our dust collector over in that corner there. It has some wood stored in behind it too, that slab of wood. But yeah, and then we have our sort of 3-in-1 air filtration system there. So we have air filtration with 3 tools on top. Again, don't use them too often. It is on a cart, so we can always just pull it out when we want. And then we have our planer here as well, where we can use the any one of those carts as an outfeed table for it if we need to. But again, I might be doing a flip up outfeed table for that at some point down the road as well. All right, so we didn't quite stick to our plan as much as we'd like, mainly because one, we wanted to stick to our budget. We didn't stick to our plan as much as we liked, but yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good the way we kind of, as we were trying things out, looking at the plan and what we were thinking, because we had so much more scrap wood than we expected, and we had a lot more stuff than that, which was in the plan kind of thing. Of course, all the accessories that you don't really take account of. Sure, we did look at the big pieces of equipment, but all the other accessories and things like that really have a bit of a toll on where we can put things. But we really do like the wood management piece here, that kind of thing. We do like our stain setup as well, and these carts that we can move around. And I forgot to mention that we can actually put them together as well. They're the same height, so we can actually, I'm going to get some clips that we can actually just clip them together, so that way we have a 4x4 or a 2x8 length type of workbench that we can sort of do as we need them. So I think that's going to be very helpful. And then also we can also use that one here as the outfeed table if we really wanted to as well. So there's different options with having 2 carts that are the same height. Only downfall is our floor is not level. We have cracks. Of course, it's all sloped towards the garage door for snow and water that comes off a car kind of thing. It's made to run out, so can't really change that. I mean, we could, but that would be an overhaul, a major overhaul at the garage. We're just going to live with it. It makes it a bit harder when you're trying to put things next to each other, even though they're the same height. When you have a crack or a hump in your floor, it kind of throws things off, but we do the best we can. I think that's where at least having the snap connectors will be helpful. So that's where we're at. If you're in the same kind of situation, I hope that you're a small workshop, a small garage, and you're kind of trying to figure out how to get things organized. Maybe this video has helped you sort of see what you can do with it kind of thing. So now I'm really happy because we actually can walk around in our workshop without tripping and hitting tripping on things and wood everywhere and whatnot and stuff in the way. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. I'm sure you're going to see more videos people tend to get. So we'll get into that on the next video. Talk to you later.